Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLESFANS. Let's get to the news. Alright, Eagles fans, buckle up because there's a lot to unpack here. We know the NFL season is just getting started, but already, there's chatter, rumors, and some developments that could shake up the NFC East's landscape, and more importantly, impact the Eagles' quest for another Super Bowl appearance. And trust me, what's happening now is not just about one game or one player. It's about a potential shift in how the Eagles might approach this season and future seasons. So, let's dive deep into what's going on, starting with the recent game and then moving into some big trade rumors that could redefine the secondary for Philly. First, let's talk about the rough start for cornerback Adoree Jackson. You might have seen the game against the Dallas Cowboys, and if you watched it, you know Jackson had a tough day. To say it was a challenging debut is putting it mildly. Jackson was targeted 7 times, which already tells us the Cowboys saw some weakness on that side. 5 catches allowed for a total of 103 yards. That's an average of over 20 yards per reception. That's not just a bad day. That's a statement from the opposition that they're willing to test him deep and see how vulnerable the Eagles' secondary really is. And if you look at the play-by-play, you'll see a highlight that's probably giving Eagles fans some sleepless nights. Dak Prescott threw a 32-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb, and Jackson got beaten badly on that play. It's a play that sticks out because it exposed some of the issues in coverage. Jackson was beaten, and the receiver made him look like he wasn't even there. To add insult to injury, Jackson drew a pass interference flag, which in football is almost like giving the offense a free yardage gift. But what's more concerning isn't just that one play. It's how repeatedly receivers were able to turn short gains into chunk plays by exploiting the sideline and the gaps in coverage. It shows that Jackson, despite his talent, is still adjusting to the new system under coordinator Vic Fangio, who's known for his complex defenses and aggressive schemes. Now, that game was a wake-up call for many fans and analysts. But it also raises questions about whether the Eagles need to consider making a major move to bolster that secondary. And here's where things get really interesting. There's been chatter about potentially making a trade for Denzel Ward from the Cleveland Browns. Now, Ward is a player who, despite the rough start for the Browns this season, remains one of the league's top cover corners. He's a former number 4 overall pick from 2018, and over his career, he's been recognized as one of the best in the league. In 2024, he led the NFL in passes defensed with 19, which is a career high for him, and he's also accumulated 49 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble in just 16 games. What makes Ward an attractive target for the Eagles? Well, his ability to stick to receivers and make plays on the ball is second to none. He's been named to 4 Pro Bowls, and at 28 years old, he's in the prime of his career. His coverage skills are top tier, and he's proven himself as a consistent playmaker. But here's the catch. Trading for Ward wouldn't be simple. The Browns, despite their struggles, are unlikely to want to part with such a valuable piece unless the right deal comes along. And let's not forget, Ward signed a substantial 5-year extension worth over $100 million, with cap hits that rise sharply in the next few years. $14 million in 2025, but jumping to $32 million in 2026 and $30 million in 2027. That's a significant financial commitment, and the Eagles would need to find a way to make the numbers work, especially considering their own salary cap constraints. But beyond the financials, there's also his medical history to consider. Ward has suffered at least 6 documented concussions since entering the league. That's not something to overlook, especially when talking about a player who's expected to be a long-term cornerstone of a defense. The Eagles' medical and coaching staff would need to evaluate his health very carefully before pulling the trigger on any trade. Still, if the Browns' season takes a nosedive, something that's not out of the realm of possibility given their current quarterback situation, then a trade could become more than just a rumor. It could turn into a real possibility, especially if Howie Roseman, known for his shrewd moves, sees an opportunity to strengthen the secondary with a true blue-chip player like Ward. Now, coming back to the game and Jackson's performance, it's important to remember that one game doesn't define a player or a team. Nick Sirianni, the Eagles' head coach, was quick to defend Jackson, refusing to throw him under the bus. When asked about Jackson's rough outing, Sirianni pointed out that football is the greatest team sport, and that giving up 3 scoring drives early in the game isn't just one player's fault. He emphasized that football is a complex game with many moving parts, and no single player can be blamed for a loss or a tough game. That's a mature perspective, and it shows that the Eagles are confident in Jackson's abilities and believe he can bounce back. However, the reality is that the secondary needs help. The Eagles already have a solid defense, but to truly contend for a Super Bowl, they need to tighten up, especially in the passing game. Adding a player like Denzel Ward could be the difference between a good defense and a dominant one. His experience, coverage ability, and leadership could elevate the entire secondary and give the team more confidence heading into the tougher opponents later in the season. But let's not forget, the NFL trade deadline is still a couple of months away, and a lot can happen between now and then. Teams evaluate their rosters constantly, and if the Browns see their season heading south, they might be willing to listen to offers. Howie Roseman has a reputation for making bold moves when the opportunity presents itself, and this could be one of those moments. If the price is right, and the medicals check out, the Eagles could very well add a player of Ward's caliber to their already talented defense. So, what does this all mean for the Eagles in the immediate future? Well, it's clear that the team is still working through some early season bumps, especially in the secondary. But the talent is there, and the coaching staff is confident that adjustments will be made. The addition of a player like Denzel Ward could be the missing piece to turn this promising defense into a championship-winning unit. And with a strong offensive core led by Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and the emerging talent around them, the Eagles are positioning themselves as serious contenders once again. As fans, we should keep a close eye on how the team responds in the coming weeks. The game against the Cowboys was a wake-up call, but it's also a reminder that the NFC East is highly competitive, and no team can take anything for granted. The Cowboys, the Giants, and even the Washington Commanders are all looking to make their mark, and the Eagles need to be at their best. Whether it's through internal improvements or strategic trades, Philly has the talent to make a deep run. The defense, especially the secondary, will be a key factor in that journey, and if Roseman pulls off a trade for Ward, it could be a game-changer. Now, let's talk a little about the bigger picture. The NFC East has historically been one of the most competitive divisions in the NFL, with a fierce rivalry among the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders. The Eagles, in particular, have been building a strong roster over the past few seasons, and their Super Bowl-winning team a few years back set the standard. But every season is a new story, and while the Eagles have a lot of talent, they also face challenges, especially in the secondary. That's why adding a player like Ward isn't just about filling a gap. It's about elevating the entire unit to a championship level. And for those of you who follow the Eagles closely, you know that Howie Roseman is always working behind the scenes. He's a master at cap management, at identifying value, and at pulling the trigger when the moment is right. The potential trade for Ward is just one example of how Philadelphia is always looking for ways to improve, especially when the window for a Super Bowl run is open. They've done it before, and given the talent and coaching they have now, there's no reason to believe they can't do it again. Of course, fans should also keep in mind that football is unpredictable. One game doesn't define a season, and even the best defenses have their off days. The key will be how the Eagles respond in the upcoming weeks, how they tighten up on defense, and whether they can make that bold move to bring in a player who can make an instant impact. The secondary's performance against the Cowboys was a reminder that there's still work to be done, but it's also an opportunity to learn, grow, and perhaps even add a game-changing piece. In conclusion, Eagles fans, what's happening right now is a testament to the relentless pursuit of excellence that this franchise embodies. The possibility of trading for Denzel Ward is not just a rumor. It's a strategic move that could solidify the Eagles' defense and keep them in the Super Bowl conversation. It's about making smart, calculated decisions, leveraging talent, and pushing for that championship we all crave. So stay tuned, keep supporting your team, and get ready for what promises to be an exciting season filled with drama, surprises, and hopefully, another shot at the Lombardi Trophy. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Philadelphia Eagles news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think acquiring Denzel Ward would be the game changer the secondary needs? Or do you believe the current squad can bounce back from that tough game against Dallas and improve on their own? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Eagles. Remember, this is your team, and your voice is part of what makes this community so special. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, insights, and breaking news, so stay tuned for the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. Thanks for watching, and as always, fly, Eagles, fly.